Hey guys, Coupons Provide here, and today I'm coming at you with a pretty quick tutorial. I showed you guys on Instagram one of the projects that I was playing with, and that included creating some faux leather paper. Now it doesn't feel like faux leather, but it gives it a nice leather texture, look, style thing, and I really love the way that it came out. And it was requested that I share, so of course I'm going to do so. Now all of the supplies that I'm using are pretty simple basic supplies that I picked up from Tuesday morning at awesome clearance or Tuesday morning prices, which I am super stoked about being able to afford and collect and build up in my craft stash. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the project we're going to be working on is this really nice looking paper. I absolutely love the way that this came out. The front side is the one that I put the most detail on. The back side was kind of just a last minute glaze over. But what we are going to be using for this are the Holtz Distress Stains, which I hauled from Tuesday morning, brushed corduroy, and the ground espresso. And I'm going to be using the Plain Jane stained glass semi-matte glaze medium in Mango. And I actually got these for 74 cents, I believe, on clearance after 60% off and additional 25%. I did share that with you guys several times. Once I figured out that it did this to paper, I went back and bought everything that they had because they had been there almost 3 weeks during different hauls that I had done, and while I was experimenting and stuff, nobody bought them. So I went back and got 12 of a variety of colors. So that being said, we're also going to be using the Ranger dye ink pad in Cocoa. This one isn't mandatory. I just like to run it over the creases and the folds of the paper to give it a nice dark line throughout the entire sheet. I did use my DIY blenders, which are actually ink pads, the really cheap ink pads from Michaels. I did a full tutorial on DIY blenders, so that is also in my playlist section. I will try to make sure that I leave these videos listed below for you guys in the description box, or come back and put them in the comments and maybe pin them to the top. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to be starting with is tea stained paper. I stained this, I stained an entire stack the other night in tea. It's really simple, guys. All I do is take a baking dish. I actually dump a stack of paper in there. When you do that, it doesn't make it all the way to the middle, but I kind of just pick and flip, and just kind of dunk it and stain it as I go. So that's pretty much all I do. And then I pop it into the oven on 250, let it dry, and I'll flip it in between every, I don't know, maybe minute, and it dries pretty quick. So that's what it comes out to look like. I do have this one here that we could easily just work with, but I'm going to just work with a blank sheet so that you guys can see what it looks like from start to finish. And I'm just gonna take this sheet and cut it down. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything, but this is just a trial. So I'm just gonna cut it down and take half of the sheet, and then I'm going to use my Sizzix Texture Boutique along with the Holtz Alterations Christmas theme embossing folder, and just pop it in there. Now the Sizzix I did get from Tuesday morning as well, and I got it for $19.99, and the embossing folders are $4.49, $4.99 for a 2-pack, and then $1.99 for singles that you find throughout the store. Alright, so this is what we have. All I did was use copy paper. It's simple, basic copy paper, printer paper that you use for your office basic needs. So this is what we have. As you can see, it's similar to the other one that I have already. I do love the tea stained paper. It just looks really, really nice. Okay, so all I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take this one, and we're going to add all of our ink. And then we're going to also use this one, And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you emboss first and when you do straight to the paper inking and then you emboss, to see the different looks that you can get. So the first one, we're just going to take our lighter color and begin playing with the stain. And I'm just going to take a few pumps, put it on my glass. You can do this, you don't have to have this kind of glass plate. You can actually use a piece of glass for maybe a picture frame, or kind of DIY your own up. And we're just going to go around the edges here. And there is no right or wrong. We can just blend it all in. Okay, so there goes the first one with the first color. Once you feel like you've got a good color on there, then you can go ahead and pick up your darker shade and we can begin adding the darker color. Now when it comes to the darker color, I like to kind of spot blend it. So I'll do the edges for sure, but then I kind of take it in to the center and in different areas and make them a little darker, a little bit dirtier after I do the edges. Go ahead. You got it ready.
Almost done.
Good. All right, so now that we have that one, we can go ahead and begin playing with this one. And this one, we're gonna do it a little bit different. Pretty much the same, just a little bit different and a few extra steps. So we're gonna go ahead and take this one and set it aside. And this one, we're actually going to start by inking first after we crumble our paper. So we're gonna crumble it up. And then we're going to begin staining. Again, there is no right or wrong. You can stain first and then crumble, or whatever you really want to do. There's no right or wrong. It just matters on, I guess, how you stack the colors, if you want certain things to be heightened. All I'm doing with the ink pad is simply lightly like budging it over the top to kind of set on those surface creases, just to accent the darker shades of spaces and add more depth and texture. I really love that look. Okay, so now that we have that part done, we can go ahead and begin the embossing with this one. All I'm going to do is take a dryer to this really quick. And I just use my hair dryer. I don't have a heat tool or anything like that. So this hair dryer moves from room to room with me when I'm doing stuff. Now that that's nice and somewhat dry, we're going to go ahead and put it in here, and we're only going to pass it through this time once, because since it is a little more wet, we don't want to damage the paper. So we're just going to put it through the one time. There we go, and you can't really see it at this point. You can see it on the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through one more time with our dark stain and run that over and see how that looks. Oh yes, I am absolutely loving this. All right, so there goes that one. Now we're gonna go ahead and treat them and see how they look after they are glossed. Now, quick tip, I actually keep my foam brushes in baggies like this because it actually prevents them from drying out fast. That way you don't have to just toss it after every use. I've actually had this in here for about a week in between uses and it's still soft. It might be a little sticky, but I mean it's still good, and you hold that extra product that lingers on the foam brush. So I would definitely suggest you do that. We're gonna go ahead and begin glazing these two. As you can see, I've been playing a lot. We're gonna take our glaze and spread it over the top of the first one. All I do is dip my brush in there, and for 74 cents, guys, I have been loving this stuff. So a little bit to kind of give you the story of how it came about. I was playing with a junk journal food theme and I used the Dollar Tree chalkboard paper pad thing, and it's basically just super cheap black paper, and it looked super cheap and it would rip every time you touch it. Okay, so once we have this on here, you can either set it aside to dry, or you can air dry or blow dry it, air dry it, whatever you want to do. I'm going to set it on a rack just while I glaze the other one, and then we'll pick it up and dry it with the blow dryer. And I actually use Dollar Tree cookie sheets or cookie drying sheets for my desktop drying racks. Anyway, so I needed something to make that paper look nicer, not so cheapy, and of course anything faded black looks nice and solid black when wet. So I was thinking, how can I make the color look better, a gloss or a glaze or something. And since it was black, it didn't matter the color of glaze that I put on it, so I just went ahead and put any color that I had previously picked up, which I think was like a pink and a green or a lime or something like that. And it worked. I put it on there and it gave like a faux black leather fabric look, and I was in love. And once I did that, I had to go back and pick up everything they had because it was just so amazing, and I did share that on Instagram. So now that we have those two glazed, we're going to dry them first, and then we're going to glaze the back as well because we want it to be extra durable. Plus, I can always use these, so I don't mind completing the project fully. All right, guys, so that is the finished product with just the one coat on each side. Now, if you did the second coat, it would be a lot more firm like this one. At this point, it's still kind of flexible, but it makes for an awesome piece of faux fabric, and it's just a really awesome embellishment. It kind of reminds me of something Harry Potter-esque or like a pirate journal thing. I don't know, it's really awesome, and I love all three looks. This one here was a lighter sheet with less of the dark stain. The dark stain was mainly over the surface after I embossed. This one, you see, we did everything before doing the embossing, and then we went back and did a little bit after. And then this one is a little more clean line. So I absolutely love this stuff. Once I saw it and how it, or the results it gave me, I was sold. I couldn't believe it. I had to go back and get them all. I do have several now in several colors, and I wish I would have known previously, because then I probably would have been able to get more, but I think I can make it last now that I've kind of understood how it works with paper. Now, just think about it. We went from this, which is copy paper, tea stained. It could have been this, and instead we got this, and I think this is absolutely gorgeous, guys. It is so beautiful that even the staining on your hands and stuff, it does wash away just fine. I just cleaned my glass board here with some cleaner and it comes off just fine, but it is so worth it. I absolutely love this look. I think it's just gorgeous. So that is pretty much it. I know you guys said that you enjoy these kind of semi-talk sped up videos, so I do hope that you enjoyed this one. I hope you were able to find the stained glass products. If not, look for some type of gloss product in your craft store. Use a coupon, get it as cheap as you can get it. I think it's great. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, go ahead and subscribe if you're new, and if you are new, welcome. I do have many types of videos where I show you guys a lot of the things that I like to do, and I'd rather teach a man how to fish. So that's more what you find here. I thought about selling things, and I may build up to selling slowly but surely, but it's not my cup of tea. I'm more of a creator, and I like to show everyone how to create and give you easy, understandable instructions so that you too can create. So when you do something like this, you can be like, wow, that was like literally not a thing, and then now it's in the world and you get to look at it and use it, and it's just pretty awesome. The feeling of accomplishment, I guess, is what my main goal is for you guys. If you enjoyed, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and my Facebook group at Coupon to Provide, and don't forget, guys, keep couponing. Bye. All right, guys, so if you follow me for not that long, and you saw my Tuesday morning hauls where I hauled these little beauties, which actually I think I have one and I haven't posted it yet, but that's not the point of this little video clip. If you see these, pick them up, because I got them on clearance from regular $4.99. They have them at Tuesday morning for $2.49. I got them on clearance for 75 cents. If you don't have the additional 25% off, you can get them for 99 cents. Anyway, long story short, I used this on top of the Dollar Tree faded black chalk paper, which is very cheapy black construction paper, but it gave me this really cool faux leather look for this here. OM gosh, this looks beautiful. Check it out. So nice. Okay guys, so I'm coming at you with another use for the plain Jane stained glass. So if you saw my Instagram feed not too long ago, I was showing you guys how I used it on black, super cheap Dollar Tree construction paper. It's the one that's supposed to be like chalkboard theme or whatever. And it made it have an awesome faux leather look. So I knew that the purpose that I wanted was to have the paper more solid and more durable, because it was super cheap and it just tears easily. So since I had that as the solution, I wanted to go ahead and use that on my punches for my mini happy planner little setups that I'm doing. And all I did was tape it off and use the stained glass, and what it's going to do is still a little wet. You can see it's still wet. What it's going to do is it's going to dry, and it's going to make the edges thicker so that they can be more durable around the discs.